Hey, I'm shy about saying this, but if you think that what I'm doing is different and interesting, subscribe to my YouTube. Okay. Sorry. I decided earlier I was going to do that to see if I get more subscribers. Mary, are you here? Hi, Mary. You said yes, so I'll go on and ask you some my questions now. Um, Mary, what do spirits need to do to progress beyond the fifth dimension? T, I, or is it an I or an H? I don't know. I think it's an H. E, Y, D, O, N, O, T. T, E, L, L. They do not tell. So you don't know the answer to that question. Mary, have you ever heard of someone progressing beyond the fifth dimension? Have you ever heard of that? Like spirits such as yourself progress beyond the fifth dimension? Have you ever heard of them doing that? L, E, A, D, E, R, S. Leaders. Have leaders told you about it at all? No. Are you saying that you know leaders exist and that's what you mean? Like, you know leaders exist and that's all you really know about beyond the fifth dimension is that leaders exist? Is that what you mean? Yes. Mary, are there other ways to connect with the spirit guide besides the Ouija board? Yes. Mary, what are these ways? D, I, E. Oh no, that's F. F, F, E, R, E, N, T, S, O, U, L, S, U, S, E, O, T, H, E, R, M, E, N, S, Other. You wrote different souls use other. What was that last word that you were saying? It starts with an M. What's that last word? I didn't get it. M E A N S. Different souls use other means. So what are one of these means? What's the most common mean besides the Ouija board?
Inside was an industrial-sized freezer in the cargo area. And inside the freezer was a large black garbage bag, and they felt it.
Mary, what's the most common mean besides the Ouija board?
I recall seeing two arms coming back with the hands
P
and a ring.
R A Y E R. Prayer. Okay. Mary, here's my next question. Can the Ouija board be dangerous? Can using the Ouija board be a dangerous thing? Yes. Wow. What can you tell me how it's dangerous? Like describe like in what way is it can it be dangerous? L O S T S O U L S P L A Y D A N G E R O U S G A N E S. Mary, you said lost souls play dangerous games. Would these lost souls, would they typically be in the in-between area of the third and fourth dimension? Yes. Mary, what kind of games would they play? Like, what do you mean they play games? Like, what describe one of these games, or what would be typical of them to do that would be dangerous? A L S E. Oh, that was an F. F H. Oh no. F H O O D S. Mary, did you say falsehoods? That was an E, not an F. Mary, so how can you tell that the spirit you're contacting through the Ouija board is who they say they are, and not one of these lost, negative, falsehood souls? W A Y. No way. So that means that you could be telling me falsehoods. So could you tell me something that could? I don't think you're telling me falsehoods because I've talked to you for a really long time and you're very consistent and short in your language, and you're kind of to the point. In other ways, you're kind of vague, but you don't seem to be the personality that tells falsehoods. But is there something you can tell me to put me at ease that you're not a falsehood soul? I A M N O T L O S T. I A M. Is that an H? No, it must have been an I. And 5 D. I am not lost. I am in 5D. Well, I believe you, Mary, and thank you for telling me. Mary, this seems like a kind of strange question. Have you heard of the person named Doreen Virtue? Have you heard of that person?
They were able to do the fingerprints, and that's something I never even thought of. I never imagined that we would have that kind of evidence after 3 years.
Meanwhile, John Familaro refused to explain why Denise's body was in his freezer 350 miles away from where she disappeared.
I didn't think you would have. Someone asked me to ask that question. Mary, once I was talking to you and you said that, or you confirmed to me that silver, I could place silver on the Ouija board, and that could be like protective against those like lost souls, as you put it. Is that true? I could use silver. I could put a silver coin on the Ouija board to protect myself. Is that true? Yes. Mary, what is another way that I could protect myself using the Ouija board?
And police found credit card receipts that showed Familaro had bought the freezer just days after Denise's disappearance. They also discovered blood-stained clothing belonging to John Familaro.
And O N M E A N S. Common means. Like what, Mary? What common mean? What? Could you give me an example? C L E N S I O G. That was probably an N. Cleansing. Mary, what's a way to cleanse? How does one do a cleansing?
explain how she died.
We took off 2 or 3 black plastic bags that had encased her
S
whole body. And inside that were some smaller white
A
plastic bags which covered the head. When
G
we removed that,
E.
we started defrosting that
Sage.
back.
I've heard of sage before. I have some sage. I used to use it a lot before I talked to you. So that's cool. You wrote sage. Thank you for putting up with me, Mary. I'm just really trying to make you do the talking. All right. Mary, here's my next question. When loved ones greet you, that's the royal you, after you die, is it sometimes a spirit guide or another helper posing as the loved one? Does that ever happen? No. Mary, is it possible that in the confused state of the recently deceased person, that they would think that the spirit guide or the helper is a loved one because they're in a confused state? Is that possible? Does that ever happen? R E I H A P S. You haven't been doing the you wrote, Mary, did you write perhaps? Did you just write perhaps? And Mary, for some reason you're not writing the first letter a lot. That's happened a few times. Or you wrote rehaps. I guess the R looks kind of like the P. It just has a little tail. Or Mary, are there certain types of crystals that help with emotional and spiritual issues? Yes. I thought you would say yes. Mary, what crystals assist most with grounding to the physical pain, releasing stress, and releasing negative energy? Hold on, Mary, 1 second. I'll read that again. Mary, what crystals assist most with grounding to the physical plane, releasing stress, and releasing negative energy? Or relaxing stress and releasing negative energy? What crystals do that? M A N Y. Manny, which one does it the most? Like, what's a really good common one that you could tell me about? I H A V E A N A F F I N I T Y Q U A R T S. Did you mean, you wrote, I have an affinity, quartz. Do you mean that you have an affinity to quartz? Is that what you meant? or you have an affinity for quartz?
Denise Huber's body was found in a freezer in Arizona. Forensic investigators reconstructed
Yes.
the skull in an effort to understand how she died.
You can see patterned injuries of two different varieties indicating two
Mary,
different weapons were used.
does LSD, that drug, have you ever heard of the drug LSD?
That told us that the bags were in place when she received the blows to the head.
And Dr. Fulgenetti discovered Denise had been hit 31 times.
It's horrifying.
Okay.
And if I stop too long to think about how she felt when she was
Oh, I
paralyzed,
think you did
I
NOW.
don't think about that until it's all over and done with.
H
For me, it's a matter of here's
A
the puzzle. My job is to put the puzzle
T.
together and interpret the puzzle, and then
Wow.
go home and cry in the shower.
O
The semen found on
U
Denise's clothing matched John Familero's
K
profile.
She was innocent.
K
an
N
innocent
O
victim.
W.
And it could have been anybody.
You know what I
sister,
know.
it could have been you,
Mary,
your sister, your friend, and that's scary. It really hurts you emotionally at that point when you realize that. I'll be honest,
Mary,
I
does
was
LSD, from what you know of it,
and allow
does it connect a person to other realms? Like, would doing LSD make me closer to the spirit realm? I think that's a good question.
He had rented the front portion of this warehouse for his painting business. They talked to people
No.
who rented the unit after he had
Mary, do you know, other than what I know, do you know anything about DMT? Dimethyltrypt? I think is what it's called. That should be DMTA. Maybe I don't know what. DMT.
investigators decided to wait until dark and use
Do you know what DMT is, other than what I know?
comes into contact with the iron component in blood. We sprayed it out of a little hand sprayer. Eventually we checked the whole warehouse.
No.
What we found was just that blood in the corner of the warehouse.
Mary, would doing DMT make one closer to the spirit realm, or a spirit realm? There's a few of them.
And the nail gun found in the warehouse matched the indentations in Denise's skull.
No.
Based on the forensic
Mary,
evidence,
other than what I know, do you know anything about about psychedelic mushrooms? Do you know anything about psychedelic mushrooms besides what I know about them?
he overpowered her and took her to his warehouse a few miles away.
No.
There,
Mary, would doing psychedelic mushrooms make someone come closer to the spirit realm?
a few days after he killed Denise. 2 years
No.
later, he stole the Ryder truck
Okay.
and took the freezer with Denise's body in it with him.
Mary, here's my next question. It's a different type of question than the other ones that I was asking. Mary, how many spirits are typically around me? So around me at any given time, how many spirits typically surround and are around me?
Murder, but I don't think Denise has been the only one. On June 20th, 1997, 6 years after Denise disappeared, John
F.
Familaro was tried and convicted of first-degree
F.
He was sentenced to death.
EW. Phew.
He was challenged.
Can you give me a number?
Here in court, even before court, I think a lot of it went to the state Supreme Court.
1,
But every challenge
2.
was beat back.
Whoa. 1, 2, O, R, 3. 1, 2, or 3. So you probably said 1, 2, or 3, not 12. Did you say 1, 2, or 3?
Sometimes you imagine things as bad or worse than what they were. This really is the way it's supposed to be done, and then it makes you work harder on the next one. And when you're about to throw your hands up in despair, you think,
Yes.
Denise Huber.
Mary, who are these other spirits that are around me besides you?
There's an answer here.
R,
Of a promising dance career,
A,
Tracy Joe Shine
N,
suddenly dropped out of
D,
school in short
Oh.
disappeared. 12 years later,
And
debris from an old refrigerator was
random. So they're not even, so they're just random spirits. Mary, here's my next question. Are there guides who are separate from what type of guide you are, that is with the likes of me before the likes of me is born, and the guide stays through childhood? Are there other types of guides that are with kids and people before they're born? No. Mary, here, is it true that few children have guides? Is that true? Yes. Mary, at what age did most people get guides?
Eventually, Tracy Jo abandoned her dreams of a career in dance, dropped out of school, and at the age of 18, moved in with her boyfriend Michael and his mother. Tracy Jo's mother didn't know what
And?
to do next.
Tracy was not
A.
if she was.
And.
Tracy had become so
Y.
controlled by drugs. And I just kept
A.
praying that, she just lived through
G.
this and get out of
E.
all of it, and then we could have our lives again
S.
and go on.
B.
Michael Neal had recently been implicated in a
U.
drive-by.
T.
Detective Marcel Dion went to Neal's
M.
Neal wasn't home,
O.
but Tracy Jo.
S. T.
Tracy had just taken the
A.
syringe was still there on the couch right there with her.
R. E.
You can make heads or tails out of anything she was saying.
B.
So he arrested
E.
Tracy Jo for
T.
drugs.
T.
She'd been arrested
E.
2 other times, I believe,
R.
for her drug problem.
T.
She said she had tried to stop.
H.
Attempted to see if there was some way
A.
I could get Tracy
And.
to a drug program.
1.
And I was finding that there were
Three.
waiting lists at different places, and there really wasn't a whole lot I could do.
Are better than 13.
At police headquarters, Tracy Jo
Many ages, but most are better than 13. Is that what you said?
boyfriend Michael was the one who committed the drive-by shooting, and she agreed to testify against
By better, do you mean older?
sentence for her drug charge. Detective
Okay.
Dion
Mary, here's my next question. Can y'all in the 5th dimension watch 3D movies while you're in the 5th dimension? So I asked you before if music in the 3rd dimension goes to the 5th dimension and you can listen to it, and you said yes. So I'm asking you the same thing about movies here in 3D. Can they go to the 5th dimension? Are they sent to the 5th dimension and then y'all can watch them if you want?
was a member of the Aryan Brotherhood, a violent white
Yes.
supremacist group. This explained Neal's alleged
All right.
involvement in drive-by shooting.
And it's true that that happens with music too. Music is sent to the 5th dimension. That's true.
About Tracy Jo's whereabouts, he said that Tracy
Yes.
Jo left home shortly after her arrest.
Mary, what kind of screens can you watch the movies on?
Dion wasn't so sure.
What are the screens like? A. N. Y. W. E. C. H. O. O. S. E. So, are you saying that you can think of a screen and a screen will show up? Is that what you're saying? Yes. And you said before, you said any we choose. Okay. I'm putting this away. Oh my God. Oh.